Tonight is on an island. It's about time for making up. The times you wasn't with me waking up. Now you feel set up.
Hello and welcome back to a brand new video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to my channel, make sure you are subscribed down below and turn on your notifications because I'm dropping content like every week, two times out the week. You don't want to miss a video, okay? So today's video is going to be about people pleasing and learning to say no, learning to have boundaries, learning to understand that you cannot expect to receive what you give out. Okay, a lot of people, especially women, okay, we have been raised in a way that just as a society, you know, we are expected to give a lot of ourselves for other people. We are expected to sacrifice a lot of ourselves for other people, whether it be for our, you know, our younger siblings. If you're the oldest one, you know, I'm the oldest out of 5. So there is that aspect where it's like I'm expected to give a lot for them, you know, because I am the oldest daughter. We see it all the time in our families. You know, I've seen it with my mother. I've seen it with a lot of my aunties, my grandmother, you know, other cousins of mine, how a lot of their own wants and needs and desires get put on the back burner because they feel like they need to show up for other people. And they feel like they need to be there for other people. And what I'm not saying is to not be there for others. I feel like that's a superpower that we have as women, is that we can be so empathetic, that we can be so nurturing, that we can be so caring, especially in a world that is very individualized and very selfish. The fact that we are able to care so much for other people, I feel like it's something that we need to keep, you know, that we can't lose or, you know, get bitter and not be giving anymore. No, you should be giving. That's something that's important that we need to continue to be. But what I am saying, that there is a difference between giving because you have to give and giving and you're not pouring into yourself. A lot of times I've noticed that with people that are very big with people pleasing and just wanting to do the most for everybody else, is they end up getting very hurt when that energy that they have given to others is not reciprocated. Okay, I've noticed that a lot of times when I talk to women, you know, who are in my family or friends who are very much people pleasers, they'll sit there and they'll tell me, you know, I did this, and this person couldn't even give me this. This person didn't even show up for this event, and I've shown up for every single event that they've thrown. You know, this person couldn't even do X, Y, and Z, and every single time he or she has called me, I've given this person this, and I can't even get it back. And you need to understand that everyone does not have the same amount of desire to give as others, or wants, or other people really just don't value the things that other people do for them. There are a lot of people who have always been takers in their life, and so them receiving stuff doesn't really, to them, it's no big deal. Because they've always been that way. They've always been the receivers, whether they were, you know, the only child, or they were always kind of spoiled and they are used to that type of energy. They're not seeing, you know, that what you did is such a big sacrifice for them to actually reciprocate the energy back to you. And you need to understand that. You need to understand that people are not always going to give you the same energy that you give back. That is why it is important to understand your limits and to know up to what extent you are willing to give without receiving back. That is ultimately what it comes down to when it comes to giving and not knowing if you're going to receive. Are you okay and comfortable with giving a certain type of, whatever it is that you're giving, or a certain type of amount, and not receiving it back? Because there is a possibility that you can be giving and giving and giving and giving, And this person that you're giving to or pouring into is not going to give you anything. Is not going to reciprocate the same kind of love or care or affection. And you need to be okay with that. You need to give without having any actual expectations. You also need to learn how to say no. It is okay to be a little bit of selfish in your life. It is okay to be a little bit more stingy with what you give or who you pour your energy into. Not every single person that you have a relationship with deserves that much from you, okay? Especially if they're not giving it to you back. There's no need for you to continue to try to pour and pour and pour. I understand that for some of you, that is kind of your way of showing love to people, is to give them things or to do a lot of things for them. But again, understand, if they're not asking you for it, you cannot be upset when they don't reciprocate the same energy for you. Because then you're not actually doing it because you genuinely want to give. You're doing it because you are expecting something back. And understand that you're not always going to give back what you give. So my advice to people who have this issue when it comes to being really big people pleasers, or just always wanting to just give, and then they end up feeling hurt or depleted because they feel like they're not getting the same type of treatment back, is stop giving so much for a little bit. You know, tone it down some. Think about all the people in your life that you give a lot to, and think about all the things that you do, okay? Because a lot of you are doing a lot of things for a lot of people, and the reason why you're feeling so depleted is because you're not actually giving yourself anything. You know, there's some people who have a habit of going to the store and buying things for everybody else except for themselves. Don't be afraid to spend on yourself. You gotta buy yourself something nice. Take yourself out to eat. Spend money that you make on yourself. Do something nice for yourself. Cook yourself a nice meal. You know what I'm saying? Do all of those things that you do for other people. Do it for yourself for a little bit. Just be a little bit more stingy with what you give. Be a little bit more selfish with your time. And really think about what it is that you want your relationships to be like. Do you want it to be a relationship where you're just constantly giving and giving and giving and not getting the same back? Or do you want to be in relationships with people and have relationships with people where you feel like there is a healthy exchange going on? Because if you do not feel like you have a healthy exchange going on, the only thing that says to me is that you need to work on having and enforcing some new boundaries. You need to sit down and think about what your boundaries are. You need to sit down and think about what it is that you're comfortable giving. And you also need to think about what it is that you want to receive from people, you know? And start dialing stuff back. If you know that you're doing too much for a person, whether it be a family member, a friend, or someone that you're in a relationship with, start taking some of that stuff away slowly and pouring it into yourself. There's nothing wrong with pouring into yourself. You're not wrong for wanting to do nice things for yourself. You're not wrong for wanting to feel loved and cared for in the manner that you are caring for others. You deserve that just as much as anybody else. But in order for you to feel like you deserve that, you need to actually practice that in your own life. So that's why I'm saying that for, the next month or two, be very selfish. Say no. Actually, no, I can't help you today. I have to go do this. Actually, no, I can't cook today. I have to go do this. Actually, I can't do this, or I can't show up for here, or you know what? Instead, I was going to spend this money on this person and buy them this gift. Instead of buying them a gift, I'm going to buy myself something, or I'm going to take myself out. I'm going to take myself out to eat. I'm going to buy myself something nice. Do those things instead. Pour into yourself and journal, write about what it is that you want your relationships and those dynamics to be in your relationships with your family, with your friends, with your work, with, if you're in a relationship, with your relationship, because all of these things are important, and you don't want to feel like you're giving more than you're getting, that is when you start feeling burnt out. That's when you start feeling very irritated with people. That's when you start getting very emotional and upset because you feel like, I'm doing all of this and they can't even reciprocate. And why do you want people in your life, or why do you want to be giving so much to people who don't think that you're worthy of the same type of energy or love or respect? Okay, so work on that. I talked about this book before in my last video, but I'm gonna talk about it again. It is called Set Boundaries, Find Peace. I really feel like if you really deal with people pleasing and just not knowing how to say no and not knowing how to set proper boundaries with everybody, not just relationships, talk about family, work, friends, this book is going to change your life. Okay, so I'm gonna link it down below. It's gonna be on my Amazon storefront. Please purchase that book if you are dealing with this kind of issue, because I'm telling you, I dealt with it before. I had a very big problem saying no. I had a very big problem with doing too much for others and not doing enough for myself. And that book completely shifted and changed my perspective on boundaries and just what I want my relationships to look like, whether it be romantic or with family or with friends. And I cannot recommend this book more. Like, it's really something that you need to have if you are interested in really just changing your dynamics in your relationships. Okay, so I hope this video helps, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Okay, make sure you are subscribed and follow me on TikTok and on Instagram. Okay, bye.